She has over 5 years of industry experience as a detail oriented digital media marketing professional. She's an entrepreneur and has started her career with her own startup. She has extensive experience in building, executing, and maintaining digital marketing campaigns. Bringing forth in depth knowledge of marketing coupled with focused campaign experience, she has adapted and created successful digital marketing campaigns for various businesses which aim towards improving brand awareness and overall market presence. Let us know more about Parul Gupta and learn her insights on the need for having a startup during college. Pretty interesting topic, right? Hello. Hi there. Welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. The Guiding Voice for a Better Future. This podcast is to help professional students, IT employees, and entrepreneurs to shape their careers. Dear listeners, in every episode, we interact with industry experts or thought leaders or academicians or coaches across the globe to drive some insightful conversations that will help each one of you learn great things. Also, we share an interesting trivia or a fun fact about the IT world or technology towards the end. So stay tuned till the end. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Naveen Samala and I'll be your solo host for today. So, as discussed, we are going to discuss a very interesting topic. Should students do a startup during college itself? And I'm pleased to welcome Parul Gupta to our show to get some interesting insights from her. Parul, welcome to our show.
Hi Naveen, it's so great to be here. I mean, I've been following your podcast from a while now. I think it's been a month I am following it, and I just love the content out there. I think there are few content which I just loved, and I was listening it on repeat maybe. Yeah, I think that was amazing. It's one
Thank you
amazing
so.
thing you are doing, and
Thank,
the best part is it's a mix of everything. So I think I love that part the most.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Like it has started with a purpose, and we started adding diverse list of topics as and when we expanded our network, and now we have various forums where we are finding some experts and passionate folks like Parul. So thank you so much for being part of our journey in shaping the lives and careers of millions across the globe.
Thanks, Naveen. Thanks. Thank you so much.
All right, wonderful. So, Parul, let's get started. Here is my very first question. Let's talk briefly about your career journey so far, and maybe you can touch upon a couple of key milestones in specific.
Okay, so I started, as you know, I was in college, I was doing my MBA in 2013. And at that time, I was in second semester when this idea of a startup came in my mind that why not have a utility services platform? And yeah, I think in my second semester only, I started this instead of waiting for my college to get over or being a dropout or something. Because yeah, dropout is not cool for me. So I just decided to go with it. And yeah, so my career technically started from 2013 with a startup. And 2016 or so, I had to shut it down. But yeah, again, after that, I was part of various digital marketing companies. Specifically, I spent a good amount of 2 years in tourism industry, taking care of the entire marketing department plus operations. Plus, I traveled a lot of places, the entire North India and some parts of South. Yeah, I think after that it was majorly digital marketing only, which I was taking care of. I was generating leads, I was getting the conversions done, and so it's been like 5+ years, like somewhere around 6-7 years that I am into digital marketing, and yeah, I'm quite enjoying the role now.
You see, your passion and your smile speaks it all, Parul. In fact, yeah, I think you must be fortunate, or one of the fortunate few who are actually living their passion, right? So,
Yeah,
and
to be
at
very
this,
honest, I was really unfortunate in terms of getting paid on time and everything, but I was really fortunate in terms of getting my passion followed. And, I always had this right budget in hand to either travel, to do things and everything.
yeah, absolutely. See, at TGV, we believe in one mantra actually. Let's do our best. Money will follow. That's it.
True,
Money will
true. I think,
eventually come.
yeah, I think I was following this mantra only that led me to like right now where I am.
Wonderful. So, Parul, during our conversations, you mentioned this colleges or the institutions should propose or mandate 6 months of a startup journey, or people should do the startup as an internship? Why did you propose that?
So first, when I had my own startup in college, I think this was one thing. And when we read about Microsoft owner or Facebook founder or Reddit founder, all these people are college dropouts. So it's always there. I always felt like it's always there in students at the college level, but I think somewhere it gets overcome with the idea of okay, jobs are easy to make money. And then I have seen a lot of youngsters, even I'm just 30, but I have seen a lot of people in 20s just struggling in their jobs that okay, we don't want to do a job, we are frustrated in our job. So I think, and we all are into the same idea that we want to go for entrepreneurship, we want to do a startup. And I think this is something that made me feel like, okay, if BDS and MBBS are offering that you have to have this 6 months internship, go to a rural place, treat people, get to know it firsthand. So why not these engineering college and the MBA colleges have this 6 month internship, and why not make better employees with these people having an entire idea of how a company works or how operations work and every department works.
So definitely, I think we need to suggest this recommendation to AICT now that internship is mandate, but probably starting a startup is something very interesting fact. And in fact, I love the analogy of this BDS and MBBS students who have to actually serve in a rural area before they can start on their own, right?
Yeah.
Quite interesting. And when it comes to the startups, right, ideas play a very critical role. And when we touch anybody, okay, saying that they want to be an entrepreneur, or we'll ask them, hey, what's your idea about? I'm still thinking. So what are your insights in terms of how should someone start thinking about ideas?
I think upon this point only, I think these people have this. I mean, whosoever I meet, whosoever is already working and an employee since like 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, they have this fancy idea about entrepreneurship. That okay, you just get into it and you just get done with it and everything. So I think to start with, if there is an idea, like I think even everybody is having an idea, and idea could be as basic as you just have to look around what is lacking, what is not there, or what is something you just said casually that okay, why not this is happening. Like I remember I started with utility services and providing electrician, plumber and everything on call, because this constant nudging from my parents that okay, call the electrician now, okay, he's not here, and then dad is saying something and then mom is saying something. So I think this only, I was like just sticking and said it casually that okay, why not these people can come on time in 24 hours. And then I realized, okay, why not have this for everyone, because everybody is facing the same trouble. Why not have a systematic way out of it? So I think it's that basic idea which each of one might be having. Like somebody is having n number of textbook at their place after engineering and everything. So why not you make a platform wherein these textbooks you can sell easily and should be dedicated totally to engineering students? Why not you just approach these engineering colleges that okay, just give it to me second hand, or why not just connect the seller and buyer just like OLX is doing. So I think it's these basic ideas which each of one is having, but I don't know what's the hesitant that okay, it's not good enough or it might not work. So yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
how idea generation parts happen with me.
Yeah, interesting. This calling a plumber and electrician, it is something regular household stuff. In fact, I also had that idea of coming up with something similar to Urban Clap. Okay,
Okay,
now they are called as Urban Company. Before even they
right.
launched, I thought about that idea. But right, having an idea itself is not over. You have to execute it. Likewise, I'll share you
Right.
some interesting stuff. Like I have a couple of friends, okay, who are equally passionate like me, and who wanted to really quit their day job and start on their own. And we used to have a weekly mandatory catch up every week and start discussing it. And at one point in time, what happened is I used to get ideas like mid of the night, 12:30 a.m. kind of thing. And all. Simply what I used to do is put it in the WhatsApp group, and I warned them already. Expect some kind of messages, okay, during unexpected times, but you don't have to reply. It is because I don't want to lose the track of it. Likewise, if I look at it, about the inventory has come to 45 or so, and we do some diligence from time to time. Is it still applicable? Is it still relevant? Or has someone already implemented, so on and so forth, right? So this happens, and this is on the idea generation part. But let's assume somebody has an idea, and who should they approach as a mentor, or who can they rely on in terms of taking that idea forward and all? Because especially at that young age, right, those guys
Right.
will be confused and they don't do the market assessment in terms of product market fit and all, also coming up with a real product vision, so on and so forth, right? So what is
Right.
your advice in terms of choosing a mentor?
I think one you can do is start from LinkedIn because you have a lot of professional connects there, and it's easy to approach them. And if you have a idea, like a real idea, and if you are up for implementing it, and by implementing, I don't mean talks. I don't mean that okay, you just have an idea and you just put it out there. Maybe you do some market research. Maybe you just have an idea, okay, this is something which already exists and that's how I'm going to come. I think I was having this discussion the other day with one of my entrepreneur friend only, and we were discussing about spices, the spice market, because I think I got this interest in spice somewhere around last year with all the cooking thing and all. So yeah, I read like two, three books around spices, how these spices work and what is the best combination and what region consumes what and what is good. So I think when I was discussing this with him, this came up as a thing that okay, why not this if MTR was already there, why Eastern came in, and both are like South Indian brands only. I don't think it's ever like that. Okay, if you have somebody in competition, then you can't have another thing, right? I completely think it's two way that if somebody is already there, maybe you can modify your plan. Maybe you can target a certain niche. Maybe you can get your product in the market. Maybe if they are already selling you that powdered form of spices with a single spice, why not come up with a mix of spice? So that would be easy, right? So I think there is always this mix and match you can do, and for that you will first be needing a good network. Like talk to people. If you have an idea, don't worry about somebody will steal it or something. They can't steal the implementation part. Just talk it out with people who are experienced or from the field. Second, a lot of case studies help. I think this helped me a lot. Even when I got into it, Urban Clap was also planning to get into it. But one thing that helped me understanding Urban Clap as an entire industry report I read, what their vision is, where they are trying to go. And I think the second thing helped me was what Urban Clap is presently doing. So I understood that, okay, they might take 2 years to get here, but I can instantly start, and this is something I can focus with. Maybe I won't be Urban Clap and they won't be me, but let's go with it. So yeah, when you talk about mentorship, I think your first mentor is yourself only. I don't go to someone and talk to them directly. I just say mentor yourself, ask a lot of questions from yourself, counter yourself a lot about everything, about every question. And once you are at par with it, just go and talk to people who are experienced on the field.
That was a fabulous tip, in fact.
Yeah.
Mentor yourself and then find out people. And to be honest, right, as you rightly mentioned, people today, especially in the last 15, 16 months, because of this pandemic, many folks have started getting active on LinkedIn and you are getting instant response. See, imagine our own connection, right? The way we interacted and all. It turned out to be a conversation today, right? It's all about finding the right people, going with the right statement,
Right.
and be ready in terms of what you want from them. Yep.
True.
Wonderful. So now talking about how do we deal with this competition and coming up with the plan B, execution of the plans, which where many people are stuck. What is your advice there?
I think with the planning part and understanding the competition and all, for one, I would say these B schools have a lot of B plan competition going on. Even when I was in MBA, there was some B plan competition I participated in. I understand when the panelists ask you a lot of question around a startup. I have seen people winning that B plan also, but that idea gets lost. Nothing happens to that idea. So for first, if you're having such competitions out there, don't do it just for the college fame. Maybe take it further. Maybe, I mean, that's a request from panelists who are already startup owners that get in the front. If you're liking the idea, just mentor this person. Or if you are a college, if you are finding that potential in a student that they have some plan in hand, they might need some modification, they might need a lot of modification, but at least involve them. So with the planning part, I always feel a startup can teach you a lot around product development, a lot around marketing, a lot around tech, a lot around everything in between all this. It's not like you are certainly dedicated to being a CEO and you just have to order and take the management in command, because you have to get on road also. You have to get this labor done also. You have to get this product thing done also. You have to divide the product in stages also. I think with the execution part, once you are done with the idea, once you are done with doing the R&D of the idea, which I feel like do the market research, understand what the market is, understand if your potential customer is able to pay or not, which you are thinking. So I think once you narrow it down, get on the product part, don't do that super talks and all, don't think about raising money and everything. If you are in college, the best part is you have nothing to lose. The max to max happen is you always know how to make big things happen in the small budget. I think my first startup was of like 25K and I generated 50K out of it. So, so yeah, I think this is something, and that was an investment from my dad. I just borrowed money from him. Okay, give me 20,000 and my entire MBA. I will take care of the grades, but I want to take care of this too. So that entire 20,000 was his investment. I paid him back once I shut it down because he had the revenue and everything in hand. But yeah, I think if you ask me with the execution plan, I would suggest once you have an idea, once you're done with market research, make a B plan. I think this is something I realized at a later point when I was running the startup. But have a B plan. I think that is the super must I would say, and that sorts out. Yeah, I think it's sort out that finance part, the marketing part, how it's going to happen, the tech part, what you need, when you need, do you really need it at this stage, or maybe you want to run a prototype for 6 months.
These are like amazing insights, Parul. And I would like to slightly shift the gears and talk about your digital marketing profession. Right, you have campaigned for an organization which was into this tourism, you said, and you extensively traveled and all, right? So tell me, like, what's a day in the life of a digital marketing professional?
I think a lot of marketing folks would be able to relate this that for first you don't have a time to work because you don't have this certain time limit in which you are working. You either start early morning because the idea strike, and maybe you work at late night because the idea strike, or you are working on a weekend because idea. And for second, I think my major part goes to a lot of reading. If you are into marketing, for first, I would suggest read a lot because a
Mhm.
lot of case studies are going on. A lot of brands are doing amazing work, be it India, be it overseas, and you need to have that command over what other people are doing, what other brands are doing, and learn from them. Don't copy them, but learn from them how they are pitching in, and don't learn the fancy words, but maybe understand the basic that you need to connect at what level you need to connect. Because when I was in tourism, I was purely into B2C, and then I have to target the travel audience. So I don't think a Canva poster or a Figma poster or a CorelDRAW poster would work for them. It's more textual, and nobody wants to talk about travel. They want to do the travel. They want to see the experience. One is go yourself at that place and then start talking about it, because that will add some zeal to it. And when I got into B2B marketing, so this is one funda I always adapt. Don't join a company unless you are aligned with the product or service they are selling, because then you won't be able to do the marketing. I hats off to these salespeople. They just sell anything in the world. But I don't think marketing creativity aligns unless you align with the product.
Some wonderful and candid insights on that. And this conversation has been fantastic so far. Let's try to add more spice to the episode. And I'm going to put you on a spot by asking you a few rapid fire, interesting questions. And if you are ready, we'll get started. All you have to do is answer them very crispy, like 1 or 2 words. Are you okay? So wonderful. Thanks for volunteering to be part of this rapid fire round. Here comes my very first bullet. What is the most adventurous thing that you have done so far?
I think new city, new place, limited savings, and I left the job I had in hand in like 6 hours. So yeah,
Quite adventurous. Yeah. Okay. Here comes the second one from the rapid fire. What is your favorite failure?
my startup.
Bang on. And what could you talk for about 30 minutes without any preparation?
Startup, entrepreneurship, the thing.
Absolutely. I'm experiencing it. So, Parul, here comes my next one. What is one hidden talent that no one knows about you, which you may want to reveal to our TGV audience?
I love to cook, but the introvert in me don't feed anyone. Like you have to be really special, and I'm very selective about whom I am feeding my cooked food. I cook well though.
Wow. Wonderful. So, Parul, here comes my next one. And it seems to be a very interesting one. And I've been asking this question for quite a lot of folks, and I get some interesting answers. So, I'm really curious about what will be your response as well. What has been a question on your mind which never got answered so far?
What triggers anxiety in me? I think I have the serious anxiety issues, and I never was able to figure out what triggers it.
Interesting. And yeah, fair enough. All right, here comes the last one for the rapid fire. What
Sure.
will be your message to younger Parul?
Implement all the plans you have in your head. It's okay. I mean, you will fail big, you will succeed big. Whatever it is, just implement it. Even if it's a prototype, just do it.
Fantastic. So, after that amazing rapid fire round, I would like to go back to the mainstream and ask you one final question for this conversation. So, Parul, what will be your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers or lives?
I think I would advise them to, if you have something in mind, if you have an idea, go ahead, implement it. You have honestly nothing to lose. You overthink on it, put it at stake, you wonder a lot, you give a lot of reasons around it, but just implement it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And I think, yeah, definitely, if there is something on mind, it is better to execute it.
Right,
Finally, if it becomes a success, that's fine. Or else, at least we have tried.
right. And I always say, even if you start small, even if you start from a room which might sound fancy, like, okay, why to start from a garage? We don't have a garage. But I always say, just do it. I mean, if I have to open up a cafe, I would definitely start from this 1 BHK which I am living in. I'll just start from the hall. And I think that's fine for me.
Wonderful. So, Parul, thank you so much for being part of TGV, and thank you again for sharing these your wonderful insights about should students do a startup during the college itself. It was an amazing conversation, and loved every bit of it. It was a pleasure hosting you today.
Thank you, Naveen. I love being here and I would love to be here again.
Absolutely. We can plan few more sessions because definitely people like you are going to add a lot of value to our listener community because we need a lot of guidance from those who have already did it so that people that are looking for guidance, right, they don't have to do the mistakes which we have done ourselves.
I think this is the bit I can do, that I can tell you what wrong I did, what right I did, and rest is your failure, rest is your success. So just do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, that is one of the motives behind starting this TGV so that everybody gets a curated guidance. And in future, we envision it to be an encyclopedia of IT and entrepreneurship. Like if anybody has a question related to something, all they have to do is go to their favorite platform like Spotify or YouTube or Ghana.com or Apple or Google Podcast, anywhere search TGV followed by the topic name and it should be listed. Right.
I think this is one amazing community you are building, and I think this is going to be a big hit because. So I said no, just go to LinkedIn. Maybe LinkedIn has become a mess over time, but this place is still pure. If somebody wants to connect, maybe you can just help these people connect with each other.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Awesome. So it was again pleasure hosting you. Thank you again, Parul. Look forward for many more episodes in future.
Thank you, Naveen. Looking forward.
All right. So it brings us to the trivia segment of today's episode. And folks, today's trivia is about Apple. And do you know who is the first person to invest in Apple, and how much did he or she invest? I know you are thinking, but let me reveal the answer as per the ritual. It was Mike Markula, and it was a loan of $250,000 with about $80,000 as equity in the company. It is a least known fact. Interesting, isn't it? Thank you for listening. There is more in store, folks. Stay tuned. Take care. Be safe. Until next time, bye bye. And we are signing off for today. See you all in the next episode with another wonderful guest.